Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney and my channel is all about my cross-stitching adventures as well as my other crafting endeavors and the books that I read. But in today's video we're going to focus solely on my cross-stitching. One book because I really want to tell everyone about it, and a little bit of a life update because it's been a while since I filmed a video. And there will be a separate video in the future with all of the other crafting endeavors that I have been doing. I have a couple of really cool projects that I finished that I'm really excited to share. So with that, let's get into our theater fun fact. So today's theater fun fact is about the musical Hadestown. Hadestown was written by Aeneas Mitchell. I think that's how you pronounce their name. They wrote the book, music, and lyrics, so they wrote everything for this show. It is based off of the Greek myth of Orpheus and Eurydice, features the Fates, it's narrated by the god Hermes. You also have got Hades and Persephone story in there. It is such an amazing show. I, in 2019, was really fortunate and I got to see the original Broadway cast, or abbreviated OBC, and so it was absolutely phenomenal. I was working, I had just graduated from college, and I was working at a theater, and we had the day off, and 3 of us went to go see it, and it is one of the most expensive tickets I've ever bought. We bought the tickets at the theater, day of, halfway through the day, and it was so worth that money. It is a spectacular show. It is so well written. My friend and I were literally slapping each other during things because we were so blown away by some of the theatrical stuff that they do. And I cried so many times during that show in some of the best ways. And of course, I already knew the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, and my obsession with Hades and Persephone was really just growing at that time. And in college, I had done a production of Eurydice, and that's a completely different version. It's super cool. So I was really familiar with Orpheus and Eurydice, and it's just so good. And the music is spectacular. If you haven't heard of it or haven't seen it, go listen to it. And they actually did a pro shot, so they recorded it live with an audience on the West End, and it has just come out. So hopefully either you can go see it in theaters or it will be on a streaming service soon. I'll probably watch it eventually, but it has most of the OBC cast. I think it might be all of the principals are OBC, but it's a spectacular show. Go watch it or listen to it. So good. Alright, so with that, let us move on to the cross-stitching. So it has been about 30 days since my last video, and of those 30 days, I have stitched 18 of them on 7 projects with 2 new starts. One of those was a start and a finish, and I did a total of 5,428-ish stitches. There's 2 projects in here that were paper patterns, so I did not count them. Alright, so actually, first up, you can't see it, but my start and finish is up there. Let me grab it. So, here we are. This is Love Notes. It is a Mill Hill kit, and I followed all of the instructions to a T. It's so good. And look at that little charm. It's so cute. This was, and the hanger. This was the first time I'd ever done beading, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it came out really good and really cute. Yeah, I really love it. In case you were curious, this was the bag that it was kept in. Just a small little one that I used scrap stuff with, and this was the cover. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. And I did this now because I knew I was getting close to finishing 2 of my projects that are going to need to be beaded, so I wanted a little experience on a little trial run with beading before I did it for real on 2 projects that I've been stitching on relentlessly for quite a while. Alright, let me... Oh, and it's just backed with black felt. I used Eileen's tacky glue to attach it. So yeah. I'm so excited about this one. Alright, so next up, we've got a project I've been working on for a little bit. This is Matilda. This is one of my patterns. Here is what it will look like finished. Here's what it looked like last time. And here is what it looks like now. So just more fill-in, lots and lots of fill-in, because it's on a 14 count black. Like I said, I designed this one based off of the show logo, and the fill-in is almost done. This is my favorite project to like just sit outside and stitch it. Yeah, because I don't need the pattern, it's just a lot of fill-in. Yeah, so there is Matilda. I love her. So almost done with filling her in. I said that. Once she's filled in, I will move the hoop and stitch the title. So there you go. Alright, so, I stitched on Matilda for 6 days because I like to just sit outside because it's nice and warm out, but wasn't too warm, especially a little bit later in the day. And so I would sit outside and just enjoy the sun, enjoy the warmth, and stitch that. So I stitched it for a total of 6 days and a total of 2,316 stitches. Quite a lot. Alright, next we've got another one of my patterns. This is 25th Annual. I think I called it 25th Annual Spelling Bee, but it's based off of the musical The 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, but that's a long title. So here's what it will look like finished. This is already up on my Etsy shop, and here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And ignore the active thread, but here it is now. I think the last time I filmed, I said I was going to like get to this point and then start outlining the words so I can just, and like the border, so I could just fill it in. Yeah, I lied. I think I'm just gonna like do the white because it's really like meditative to just do the white. It's really 3865, but, and then I'll fill in the blue for the words after. But here it is up close, just a lot more white. And then down here, as you saw, this will be the kids, the spellers, and there you go. Yeah. So, this is a giant project. It's on an 18 count tea-dyed by me. I really love how it looks. Yeah, so there you go. There is 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. I think that show is currently off-Broadway. It's a really fun show. If you have a chance to go see it, go see it. Alright, next, we got this one. This lives in my little witchy bag. So, this is Ava by Nora Corbett. Here's what it'll look like finished. Here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And this is what it looks like now. All of the stitching is done. All of the back stitch is done. There really wasn't a ton of back stitch in this one. As you can tell, I moved it to a larger hoop, and I got a teeny tiny bit of beading done. I hate how wiggly those are. If you have any suggestions on how to get those to, like, you know, not look wiggly and awful, please let me know. I want them to be a straight line. I think online I've looked at some videos and like tried to figure out how to. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But yeah, there she is. So all in all her glory. This is on a 16 count Blackberry Latte from Grace Notes fabric. I love her. She's so cute. She's my favorite. I wanted to get the love notes done before I started beating her, because she was really close to being done. I didn't realize how close I was to being done with her, but she's gorgeous. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with these pinks. If you don't know, I'm going to do, if you haven't watched any of my videos, or you're shocked because it's been a while, I'm going to do all of the, well, almost all of the Bewitching Pixies, and I'm going to turn them all pink based off of this color scheme, because I love her. And I love pink, if you can't tell. So, there she is. I took out all of the floss, and we've got the beads. So there we have her. Put her away for a second. Next we have another one of my projects. This is one of my book spine bookmark projects. They're just like small and cute, and I really enjoy them. And so this is a touch of darkness. So here's what it will look like finished. I did not take a last time photo because I forgot. But here is what she looks like now. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I wasn't so sure about the colors at first, but I think I love it. So yeah, so I worked on her for 2 days for 636 stitches. Oh, Ava I worked on for 3 days for 518 stitches and about 30? There's no way that's 30 beads. Some of those are beads. And the back stitching. Well yeah, here's Touch of Darkness. I absolutely love this book. It's about Hades and Persephone, so there you go. That will be the exact same size as my Pet Cemetery one when it is finished. Alright. Next, there is no before picture because this is a brand new start. And it lives in my giant scrap Disney bag. This is just a bunch of like my scrap fabrics and whatnot. And so, this is Sally from, this, I think it's technically called Sally Figure. It's from Abbie Designs. Unfortunately, you can't get this anymore. This is what it will look like finished. And this is how far I've gotten. So I've got all of her hair done. That is all of her hair. I am absolutely obsessed with these Abbie patterns, and I'm so sad that you can't get them anymore. And I'm so happy that I got these when I could, because Sally and Jack are my two favorite characters. And I've done Tinkerbell. I finished her 2 of her stitch-alongs, and I have 1 more. And her current patterns are also really adorable. They're just not, like, licensed characters. But here is Sally. I love her so much. So I worked on Sally for 2 days. It's paper pattern. Oh, well, I'm using an off the paper pattern, so I have no clue how many stitches it was. And she is on a 14 count Stormy Gray from Dove Stitch, so it is a printed fabric. Oh, and this is one of my needle minders. The needle holds super well. That's the back. I love. And like, super strong magnet too. Yay! I love it. So yeah, there is Sally. She's truly one of my favorites. Sally doesn't need to live in this giant ass bag, but this was actually one of the first project bags that I made. And it turned out pretty decent. I can't complain too much. For one of the first ones, yeah, pleasantly surprised. Alright, next, we have my final project that I worked on. Actually, this is all of my active projects. So this is kind of like a WIP parade. Because this is all of the projects that are currently being worked on. And I currently have started. So an impromptu mid-year WIP parade? Sure. Alright, so next we have the last project that I worked on is The Mad Tea Party by Bella Filipina, or how I lovingly call her, Alice. And so I worked on her for 3 days for 1,123 stitches. Here's what she'll look like finished. Here's what she looked like the last time. And All of her stitching is done. It's all complete. Every single stitch. I just have all of the back stitching to do, and then the beads and the treasures. So I'll give you a little scrolly scroll. I am obsessed with her and her details. I cannot wait to take and finish the back stitching, see her come to life, and then all the beads in. The only part of this pattern that I'm not thrilled about is this bottom part right here. I'm like, why is it purple? What is the point of that? I don't know why it's purple. It's pretty, but I feel like it just like stands out. And I guess I didn't realize it from the picture, but I guess as I whack myself in the head. I guess when you pull it farther back, it like is fine. This is also on a 16 count Sandbar I do this every time. 16 count Sandbar by Under the Sea Fabrics, and I love her. She's so pretty. So I've got backstitching and beads left to do. So I've got 2 beading projects now. And I took and put all of the floss away, so now it's just most of all of the ones for backstitching. There's so much for backstitching. I probably won't get to her for a bit to backstitch. I kind of hate backstitching, but I've started to be okay with it because I love the outcome. But yeah, so there's Alice. I love her. I think this is one of my favorite fabrics from my project bags, truly. Alright, so that is all of the projects that I've worked on and all of the starts that I have. All of my projects, to be honest. And so I've got a couple little things that I bought to show you, and a couple other things just to talk about in the one book, and a little bit of life update. So here is some things. So I created a new starts wheel because I have so many. 90% of my patterns are digital patterns. I have, I think, other than the Nora Corbett's, I think I have one physical pattern. That was a pattern book I bought from Stephanie at Cross Stitch the Globe's D-Stash, and it's got like music stuff, and I have an idea for that. I will get to it eventually. But yeah, everything else is digital. So it's like I need, and I've had like zero motivation to like start things recently. So it's like I need a way that I can just be like, what should I start today? Have I used it yet? No. But I created it, and so I'll take a screenshot of it and I'll put what it looks like here. So it's just got like the cover image of all of the projects that I currently own, and I think there's like 2 in there that I don't own that I want to do. But yeah, so I did that. I also created a like WIP wheel. So if I ever don't know what I want to work on, I can just spin that. Have I used that? No. Did I create it? Yes. So there's that one. I think I included some of my other like projects in there as well, because there are some days that I'm just like, I don't know what I want to work on at all, or what kind of project I should do. I apparently know enough of what I want to work on because since I made that like 2-3 weeks ago, I haven't used it. Either way, it's there. I promised I would finish my Princess Polaroids. Like, because last video, I think I had it like fully stitched. I now have it fully finished. I'll be right back. Alright. Are we ready to see it fully finished? I don't know if it's going to fit all in frame, but I'm really proud of how I fully finished it. Here she is. Back up. So as you can see, I like followed the outline of the border, and I love how she came out. So I cut the mat board to like the shape that I wanted. It was a lot of like trial and error and a lot of like cutting more and cutting more and cutting more and to get like it to follow the curves. And yeah, she's really pretty. And then I glued her down. She's glued down with Eileen's tacky glue. And there she is. Here's the back. It's just one giant pink piece of felt to cover the whole thing. And then I added one of those little hanging things. So I glued it down with E6000, and then I also taped all around it like 3 times. And then when I put the felt on, I also glued the felt all the way around it with Eileen's tacky glue. And so it hangs up over there outside my room, at the top of the stairs coming up to where my bedroom is. And the walls have all of my Disney cells on it, so it goes perfectly. And this was a 3-year endeavor, and I'm so happy that she's finally on my walls and she's finally done. And the reason it's finished like this and not in a frame or not square is because this was my biggest project, and it is my biggest project to date. And when I started it, it was also the first time I was using a scroll frame. And so when I started it, I started it in the wrong spot, and you can kind of tell, not super well, but there's a piece of fabric there that doesn't belong. It's actually really hard to tell unless you look really, really closely. Wow, I'm shocked. You can really tell right there because it like really cuts off. Even there is not bad. But I had to add a piece of fabric because otherwise it would have stitching on the like edge where there's no cross stitch, and because this was a printed fabric. Yeah, I'm really proud of her. Okay, so I don't know if you've been here before, you knew, or I've mentioned that what was holding me up on Alice for so long was that I didn't have this cry neck like I had run out of it. It's like a dark brown cry neck, and it had called for 2 spools and I only had received 1, and then you couldn't get this cry neck anymore like anywhere, and now more cry neck is even harder to get in general. And so I finally got so frustrated by it, and this project was just sitting, and I really, really, really wanted to do it and to finish it and work on it. And so I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to go online. I'm going to look for it. And I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to bite the bullet. I'm going to buy it. I needed to get the beads for Ava anyway. And so I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can get the beads and the cry neck in the same place. And so I was like, great. Hooray. I found one place that had it. Or at least online it said it had it. And I was like, great, amazing, it's not that expensive, we're gonna buy it. So I bought it. And then I bought a couple other things because you can't just buy one thing. Duh. And so I bought a couple things, and they had all of the beads in this one store. It's everything cross stitch. And so I got another, ooh, don't do that. I got another Bewitching Pixie. This is Gigi, so she's added to my list. She's got a cute little, like, I'm going to call it a jaguar, and you'll know why when I get to my little story time. But she's got a cute little jaguar. And so I'm super excited about her. She's going to be really, really cute. I cannot wait. Oh, she came out in 2014 was when she was first released. Love that. Apparently also reprinted in 2021 and 2024. You can see on the bottom there. Alright, so now I own 3. Hooray! So I got that from Everything Cross Stitch. I also got, what is she called? Splat Witch. Of course, duh. It's one of the Mill Hill Autumn Harvest collection, little, like, ornament hanging things, and it comes with all the beads and the floss and the little crystal. I'm so excited. I bought this because it's so nostalgic for me, because growing up, one of our Halloween decorations was always the Splat Witch. Ours was not as vibrantly colored, but I was like, I saw this, and it was on sale on everything cross-stitch, because all the Halloween stuff was on sale, and I was like, I have to buy it. And so I did, and I'm so excited. So she'll be done eventually. But, yeah, it just reminded me of my childhood. We don't put her up anymore. I think we might still own her. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. She might still be in the storage unit. Either way, I am obsessed. I love her. I am so excited to stitch her eventually. So those are that, and I got all of the beads but one for Ava. And, well, I had ordered all of the beads, and one of the beads was back ordered, and then the whole reason I placed the order was for the Krynic, and which said it was in stock. I double and triple checked. It said it was in stock, and it wasn't. So they refunded me for the Krynic, and then the beads were back ordered, but they were like, if you want to cancel, you can, or you can just wait. And I was a little too desperate for the Krynic, so I canceled the bead because I found the bead somewhere else. And I found the Krynic in another place, so I ordered it. And so here's my little Krynic pouch from Alice. And so it's not a spool like my other ones, but it's the card, and I got it, and it matched, and I'm so excited. I still have backstitching left to do with it, but I got this from Copper Centaur Studios. They said it was in stock. I was so stinking ecstatic, because then I could finish this, and I'm so close to finishing Alice, and I'm so excited if you cannot tell. And so I placed the other order with Copper Centaur Studios. Also super great. I actually got the Krynic this time. Their stock said it was actually in stock, and it was, and I was so stinking excited. And so, oh, hi zipper. Okay. And so, as you can tell, there's my empty spool with the card behind, and the other two Krynics for this piece. We're gonna, oop, everything's falling out of the pocket. That's okay. Zip, zip. Okay. And so, of course, that couldn't come by itself, so I had to order more things from Copper Centaur Studios. Oh, they also did have the other bead that I needed for Ava that everything cross-stitch had back ordered, so I got that. And I got another Mill Hill kit, and this is Haunted Library, right? Haunted Library. It's a button and beads kit, and I'm so excited about this one because, as you know, I love books, and I kind of love Halloween, which, if you knew me before, that's a weird thing for me to say, but yeah. So, comes with everything you need. It says that the Mill Hill button in this kit has been replaced with a comparable Just Another Button Company button. There may be variation in design / color from the original button, which I don't care. You can't even see the button in there. It's hidden under the floss. But yeah, I'm excited about this one. So that is all of the stuff that I bought. I also had one more project that I was working on, or that I had meant to do, because I have another pattern, because I have another show that I am doing coming up here in a couple months, so I need to start on the logo for it. And so this is the fabric that I dyed for it. I haven't ironed it yet. I have to iron it. But it's this really pretty blue. I dyed this myself. That's washing it out just a little bit. I wonder... Nope. Yeah, it's washed out a little bit. That's a little bit more of like a... I don't know, more blue color? I don't know. This color is... Yeah, it's just washed out a little bit. But yeah. Not exactly how I wanted it to turn out. It's a little darker than I wanted it to turn out. But, alas, this is a 16 count. And I used, let's see, aquamarine and royal blue grit dye for it. I keep them in bags just so they don't leak because they do eventually go in with all of my other crafting stuff and I don't want dye to get on stuff. So yeah, that is all of that. So, the one book that I really wanted to talk about, because I've read a bunch of books in this month. I've read actually a lot of books in this month. Either way, there's one book that I read that I have to tell you about because it is one of my new favorite books in general, in all. And that is A Stage Set for Villains by Shannon J. Spann. Oh my goodness, I love this book with all of my heart and all, like, it's so good. I actually found this book on Instagram because apparently there was some, like, the author didn't create separate Instagram accounts for all of the characters in this book. Some, like, fans did it, and they were, like, talking and interacting with each other as, like, characters, and apparently it was, like, I didn't actually look that deep into it because I hadn't read the book yet, but it intrigued me enough because, as the title implies, it's set in the theater world. Like, literally the theater world. If you know the Shakespeare quote, all the world's a stage, all the world is a stage. And the players, the actors, are evil and suck the life out of people, and it's so good, and it handles theater with such care, and from somebody who you can tell they either did their research really, really well and had people reading it who know the theater and know how it works backstage, or she had theater experience herself, but it's handled with such care and such knowledge, and I really, really appreciated it. There's a stage manager character that I'm like, I'm not like that, but I can appreciate it because I know stage managers who would be like that. And go read it. It took me a while to, like, figure out if I liked it. And I think I figured out why it took me a while to figure out if I liked it or not. And it's because I think all of the books that I've been reading, as the reader, you know everything. You know more than the characters. You know everything the characters know, and plus more sometimes. And this book, sometimes you knew less than the characters. And that bothered me at first, but then I started realizing, like, no, I actually enjoy this. It makes me want to figure out what's going on. It makes me want to keep reading in not like, oh, why don't I know this? I need to know this. It's like, no, I want to know what's happening. I want to learn. And it's just, on top of that, with the theater and these characters, they're so good, and I loved it. Go read it, please. Okay, that's my tangent on this book. So, next, as you can tell, I'm really bad at talking about books, but, like, you can tell when something is really passionate to me. Either way, so next on to a little bit of my life update. Since it's been about a month, but I really haven't done a lot in the month. I feel like I have, but I also haven't. Because my last video I filmed right when I had gotten back from my last job, and then my mom had a shoulder replacement, so I've been driving her around because she can't drive yet. And so it was just a lot of, like, driving her around, doing stuff for her, and all of that stuff. But then I also went to visit my best friends for a week because their daughter turned 2. And so I was there for her birthday party. They live about 5 hours from me, so I don't get to see them very often, usually about once a year. And so we took her daughter to the college where my friend and I met. It was the first time her daughter had been there, so it was just really special. I had arrived on their wedding anniversary, and I was one of her bridesmaids, and it was just so special being there with them. They're truly, like, the best people on the face of the planet. I love them absolutely to death. Truly, like, a family to me. And so we also went to the zoo, because I love red pandas, and her husband loves to tease me every time he goes to the zoo and send me pictures of red pandas. But the red panda wasn't out, because it was too hot. Sadly. But animals have to be safe. And so then we had our birthday party, which was at this place that had, like, a lot of, like, inflatable bounce houses inside. It was really, really fun. We went to some shopping, some outlet shopping, and just a lot of, like, hanging out and, like, catching up. It was really, really great. I really needed it. I was there for almost a week. I wanted to stay longer, but I had to come back because my mom had scheduled things that I needed to take her to. And so I spent a lot of time in the car. So I've been crocheting a lot. It's the easiest thing for me to do in the car is crochet, especially since, like, sometimes I'll have, like, an hour, sometimes I'll have 45 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. It really depends on what's happening. If you want update on all of that crafting and one really cool sewing project, stay tuned. My next video will be my crafting update. I just didn't want to make this video forever long because I've done a lot of stuff. And so been reading a lot. And yeah, I am off to my next gig soon. So my next videos are going to be recorded today, but I'm going to post them later. So just know that they were not filmed when they were posted. And yeah, I think that's it from me. I don't really have any, like, crafting plans. I'm going to bring stuff with me to my gigs, but I don't know how much time I'll have. So yeah, I think that's it from me. So thank you so, so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah. I hope you have a wonderful day, and oh, I guess one more thing before I head out. The theater industry lost someone really dear to a lot of people's hearts earlier this month, and I had worked with him pretty recently, actually, and it was a devastating loss, and unfortunately he took his own life. And so just know that, like, if you're struggling, I understand. I get it. Reach out to somebody. Reach out to me. I'll be that person if you just need somebody to talk to. I'm a great listener. I just want everyone to know that you're not alone, ever. Even though it feels like you are. Somebody loves you. Somebody loves you unconditionally. You may not feel it. You may not know it. You might be too deep into it to hear this, but just know, please reach out. Somebody wants to help you. Even if you think even if it's a stranger, reach out to me. I'll be that stranger for you and help you through. This loss really hit everyone really hard, including myself, and I hate to see people struggle and nobody knows it. I don't know if any of that made sense. I hadn't actually planned to talk about that. It was just one of those things that, as I was saying my goodbyes, just kind of came to my mind. And I think something... And so my best friend in New Hampshire is a social worker, and I think went to school for psychology and then became a social worker and works in an elementary school. And then one of our other really good friends is a therapist. And so when all of that happened, I had just recently had signed on to do Dear Evan Hansen. That's the next show for the Blue Fabric. And that show deals a lot with suicide, and it was one of those things that, like, it just came together. And I said, because the theater that I'm doing Dear Evan Hansen at is the same theater that I worked at with this person, and I know that the cast probably isn't going to have a lot of overlap, but the backstage crew is. And I know there are going to be moments that it's going to hit me really hard, and I know that there's going to be moments in rehearsal that it's just going to hit people in different ways, because we all have experienced, not all, but a lot of us have experienced a lot of grief in our life, and in different varying forms and ways, and the show really touches a lot on that. And so I wanted to make sure that I was equipped and ready to handle it when somebody wasn't okay. And so I reached out to them. I was like, hey, do you have resources, any thoughts, anything that can help me prepare myself for going into this show that is going to be really heavy and really hard to deal with, especially with what has just recently happened. And I'm more concerned about the crew than I am the cast with the two things happening, because the cast has the entire rehearsal process to process what has happened and to work through their emotions, where the crew doesn't have that. The crew comes in at tech, and tech is a whirlwind of holy crap, and you really don't get a time and a moment to sit and process. And sometimes it's happened to me before where you have a 10-minute break and all of a sudden you're crying and you don't know why. And I think this show it's going to be really hard on the crew during tech, and I wanted to make sure that I had everything in my toolbox to be able to help them. And so I think there was two really big things that they had brought up when I was asking them and talking with them with this. And one thing was that I think is important that I put in here after having said this, and kind of like I eased into the topic a little bit, but she said that we should not talk about suicide, with the fear that it's going to cause other people to want to do it or to push them to do it. She said, no, we need to talk about it, and we need to destigmatize talking about it, because it could help somebody in the end instead of hurting them. But with the understanding and with the grace and the ability to say, so for somebody to walk away, no questions asked. If you can't handle the conversation, you have the right to walk away, no questions asked, and deal with it. Do not put yourself in that situation if you do not feel like you can handle it. But that we should not talk about it because of the fear that it could cause somebody else to do it. And I thought she put it a lot more elegantly than that. But I thought that was such a beautiful sentiment. And after I had stopped recording, I I was sitting here and I was responding to a message that I got while I was filming, and I was like, you know what, because after that I was like, oh, I should cut that out. It's too deep, especially to end the video. But I think it's important. I think it's important that we talk about the hard things. I think it's important that we don't sugarcoat things, that we don't protect people, but with the understanding that people have the right to walk away if they cannot handle it themselves. No questions asked. Like, if they walk away, you don't continue the conversation. You don't force it upon them. You don't question, oh, why'd you walk away? Why couldn't you handle it? No, you just let it go and we move on. If they want to talk about it, they bring it up again. And then we can have more conversation with it. But I think it's so important to talk about the hard things, especially in a day and age where the internet, it just feels like everyone's so happy and so go-lucky and everyone's life is perfect. It's not from a long shot. And so I'm going to end the video like this. I know it's a little bit of a downer. I'm sorry. It's been a really difficult month figuring out how to navigate this. And especially with social media, I understand it's one of those things that, like, you want to put your heart out there and you want to show your support for people, and I love that. That's amazing. And I think people should. But I needed to remove myself from that because I was getting overwhelmed, and it's one of those things that is also just, it keeps popping up, and that's fine. New people are posting, more people are hearing, and it's fine. I completely support that. But for my own sanity, I needed to walk away from that. And it kept bringing it up. And that's okay. And I realized I needed to figure out how I could deal with that, because it's going to come up in rehearsals. And that was another thing that I was talking with my friends about, was how do I have the grace to let people experience their emotions, but then also we have a job to do. And we can't get behind. If we get behind, we're just going to put ourselves in a bad situation. And that's not fair to anybody involved. And so how do I balance people and work? Because we're getting paid to put on this show. And so still something I'm trying to figure out. I'm going to talk with the theater to be like, what resources do we have available? What are we doing to help our cast and crew? And are we providing a resource for the audience to have something that if they need to talk, they can go to it? Because that's what theater does. It provokes emotions, and sometimes those emotions are really strong. I did a production of Next to Normal last year, and we had a lot of similar things, but I think combined with what has happened and the loss of this actor that I didn't even realize how much his stretched across the country. I think it's even more important to have those available to people and to talk about it and to say, hey, it's okay to talk about it. And if you can't talk about it now, that's okay too. So yeah, you are all amazing, even if you don't feel like it. Hang in there. A better day is going to come. Look for the light. And like I said in the other clips, I'm here for you. If you need anything, please reach out. I will do anything in my power to be there for you. Like I say, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.